Public comments. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any items not on the agenda may do so at this time when recognized by the mayor. However, no formal action or discussion will be taken unless placed on a future agenda. The public is advised to limit discussions to one presentation per individual. While not required, please state your name and place of residence for the record. Please direct all your comments to the mayor or vice mayor, not to city staff nor to the audience. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Again, this is public comments on those items not on the agenda. Are there any public comments on items not currently on the agenda?
Thank you, Mayor Romano. I just want to earnestly say thank you to you, Mayor Romano, and everybody on the council. We had the pleasure of September 17th of going to the Widows special hearing for the planning department, and they all unanimously voted yes in a very gracious way for us to have our conditional use permit for our feline surgery center. So I just want to say that was very positive for us moving forward. We're actually just a few days away and our surgery center is going to be completed. So we're pretty excited, just waiting for the AC and heater to go in and we're good to go. So with that, I just wanted to give a special thanks to everybody in the community as well. Thank you.
That is great.
Very good. Just no problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, are there any other topics from the public wishing to address the council on topics not on the agenda? Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jake Hackett. I am here to discuss ensuring fair representation in Orland. Currently, you guys are elected at large. Now, I'm sure that you know that there have been a bunch of cities over time that have had to change to district elections because of the California Voting Rights Act. I think, and I have these for distribution, if somebody could do that, or I can do it myself, I don't know. I have these for distribution to you guys. All I would like is to have something put on the agenda for next month, or next meeting, which is the 21st, that you evaluate, especially the legal council evaluates where you guys are at, and considers the move to district elections.
All right.
If you just provide it to staff.
If you just provide it to staff, we'll review and discuss it. Yes, we appreciate your comments, and we will definitely review. So thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming and voicing it.
One other thing is that because of the at-large system, the Latino vote has been underrepresented on the city council for a long time, and with districts, you will get at least several districts that have a majority of Latinos, and I think that that is something that can help bring the community together in times like this.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for your comments. Are there any other members of the public wishing to address the council on items not on the agenda? Do you have any online? None seen, none heard. We'll move to item 6, the consent calendar. Public comments are welcome on each agenda item at the designated time announced by the mayor. Comments are limited to 1 per person per topic and may not exceed 3 minutes. Once the comment period is closed, please allow the council to continue without interruption and refrain from disruptive behavior. Item A, the warrant list, payroll obligations. Item B, approved city council minutes from September 16, 2025. Item C, approved city council special meeting minutes from September 18, 2025. Item D, receive and file Economic Development Commission minutes from August 12, 2025. E, receive and file Art Commission minutes from August 20, 2025. F, receive and file Planning Commission minutes from August 21st, 2025. G, MOU regarding use of 700, 800 megahertz frequencies. Item H, request a contract service with Tyler Technology for year-end payroll processing support. What are the wishes of the council? All right, open for public comment on the consent calendar. None seen, none heard. We'll bring it back to the council. Do I have a motion on the consent calendar?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move that we approve the consent calendar as presented, items A through H.
Do I have a second?
Also,
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The voting is unanimous 5-0. We'll move to item 7, administrative business. 7A, budget discussing with RGS. Joe Goodman, city manager.
Honorable Mayor and Council, when the City Council adopted the current preliminary budget on June 17, 2025, it did so with the understanding that staff would return with a refined budget developed in coordination with the newly appointed city manager, who is myself. At that time, it was recognized that a spending deficit was anticipated, and it was emphasized how important it was to pursue a long-term strategy to achieve a structurally balanced budget. After reviewing the current budget in coordination with RGS, staff have determined that significant structural changes are necessary. After careful review, it appears the general fund has been operating in deficits dating back to fiscal year 2022 to 2023, outlined below. To develop a structurally sound budget, staff must analyze the factors contributing to the general fund's fluctuations in operating surpluses and deficits, as shown above, and as well as the utilization of Measure A funds. Based on the figures above, general fund balance is projected to have decreased $822,512 over the 4-year period shown, resulting in an estimated balance of $883,919. The city's structural deficit has developed over several years and cannot be resolved immediately. Staff recommends proceeding with the adopted 2025-2026 budget while conducting a thorough evaluation of how the city funds can help ease, how other city funds can help ease the pressure on the general fund. Staff and RGS also continue to identify errors and omissions in the budget related to the implementation of the new Tyler accounting system. Staff recommends the council authorize the city manager to hire a part-time employee with accounting expertise to support the transition to Tyler, strengthen staff capacity, and assist in identifying the structural changes needed to achieve a balanced budget. I've outlined a comprehensive schedule of how I anticipate with RGS, in conjunction with RGS, how to present a structurally balanced budget for the 2026-2027 budget next year. Historically, council has approved appropriations based just on the summary of major fund balances, like Measure A and the general fund, essentially. But the city maintains additional funds that should be reviewed to determine how they can be better utilized. And while the general fund is the city's primary operating fund, it represents only one portion of the total budget. And by reviewing all funds, council can effectively prioritize needs and gain a clear understanding of overall expenditures. So overall, RGS should be on the phone. Roberto, who's our main contact there, he is recommended to me that we continue with our current budget through the end of this fiscal year as we identify more, well, essentially all the structural changes that need to happen so we can balance the budget and have funds to rebuild our savings account, essentially. Each year we've been operating in a deficit, and which is not sustainable, and so that's why I'm recommending hiring a part-time employee to help with that transition to Tyler, identify the issues. So my recommendation is to authorize staff to hire a part-time employee with accounting expertise for an initial 1-year term, renewable upon successful performance, and proceed with the proposed process and schedule to evaluate the city's fiscal health and develop structural changes needed to restore the general fund.
Thank you. City Manager. Are there any comments or questions from the council to this presentation? Pretty detailed staff report. I appreciate those who put it together. You don't have to have comments, I'm just giving you an open. All right. We can go for public comment if there's no council direct comments on the budget. This is on the budget.
Ready for public comment?
Yes, sure.
Hi, my name is Sarah Bosley, and I would like to suggest enforcing the laws that are already in place for the structural budget, including any violations that fall underneath the sign ordinance. That's going to be a very important piece that we don't allow those particular policies to fall on the wayside for enforcement, especially since we are in deficit. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment on the current budget situation in the city of Orland? Okay, let's see, no public comment. Any comments now? The public's going to put that, I guess, detailed review. I believe city managers propose that we hire at this time, given the staffing levels currently in the office, a part-time employee with county expertise, highlight expertise, for initial 1-year term, renewable, successful performance, and then proceed with this detailed follow-up plan, which is really the key. The other key is to go through these steps and be lockstep on how we're going to get back to a solid financial footing.
And Joe, you were talking about maybe tapping into, seeing how we can tap into the reserves that are like the interest of the reserves and
Yeah, so
get back into those funds.
there's various restricted funds that, in past budgets weren't purviewed, it wasn't under your purview, but there are ways to use like administrative fees that it appears we've never taken out of those restricted funds that can be used towards the general fund. And so there's other avenues that we can look at to ease that fund before having to make major changes, cutting staff or cutting 10% across the board. Those are, I feel, extreme, but maybe necessary, but I want to look at every single option first before those.
So we want to see if we can get by with what we got right now and have a future.
Yeah, I think it will get us close, but, there's no promises. We may have to make cuts that are unsavory, but we've been using our strategic bank for 4 years, and it's not just us. RGS has sent me articles and city council meeting minutes from across California and the United States. Essentially, revenues are down and materials and everything is up. So I just met with HDL, who reviews our sales tax income, and we were, like I said in the last meeting, we're down about 7% from our second quarter last year. And so it just continues to decline. They don't foresee a major recession, but things are,
Maybe flattening at 7% down for a period. All right, so we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion on this recommendation? Yes.
In reviewing what you're showing is we have had a 4-year deficit every year. We've been in the hole. Revenues are down. It's a reality that it's time for all of us to accept rather than just keep holding until we get back. So that being said, we kicked this can down the road to October, waiting to have Bruce Stickler presenting us now to simply approve a deficit of $500,000 until next year does not sound acceptable. I know we don't want to have to make cuts, but I think the reality is we do have to look at that. How long before do you think you can get through the review of what other funds we may have available so that we can still save by halfway through this fiscal year, make some cuts in the second half so that we really don't lose $500,000 this year that depletes our reserves down to less than $1 million. when reserves should be 3?
I would love to do it as fast as I can. You know, I really, honestly, I was hoping to come to you with a balanced budget. After meeting extensively with RGS, just like I put right at the beginning of the staff report, it's happened over 4 years, and it's just, you know, it's hard to undo those things without taking machete to the budget, right? And so, to minimize the pain of cutting, you know, and services and personnel, things like that, RGS has made this recommendation that we really thoroughly look at the structural changes that need to happen. And
Do you think that could be accomplished by January?
I don't want to make promises that we
Make promises.
Yeah,
I guess
I
that's
want
the goal to
to
set.
under promise, over deliver, right? I work as hard as I can.
Thank you, Joe, I know you were having a pretty tough time.
I do have a motion.
Computer's failing me again. Can y'all hear me back there? Okay, perfect, good. With that, Mr. Mayor, I move to authorize staff to hire a part-time employee with accounting expertise for an initial 1-year term renewable upon successful performance and proceed with the voting process and schedule to evaluate the city's fiscal health and develop the structural changes needed to restore the general fund to
Have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay. There are none heard. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. We'll move to item 7B. Flag display on Walker Street and policy for city property discussion action. Scott Drexel, City Attorney.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. So this item has two components. The first is asking for council direction on potentially developing a City of Orland flag policy. The second is a discussion regarding the Walker Street flag request mentioned in the staff report, which really is here, it's brought up just to inform that policy discussion. And just for some background, the city recently received a written request from a community member seeking permission to display Mexican flags in the existing sidewalk holes along Walker Street during Cinco de Mayo and other Mexican holidays. These holes were drilled about 25 years ago with Caltrans permission, and that's just going off of the minutes meetings from those old city council meetings. And they're currently used by the Orland Flag Society to display the American flag on national holidays. And the request really brought to light that, or raised the issue that Orland does not have an official flag policy. A lot of cities have been developing those since the Supreme Court case in 2022 that essentially held that a city can control what flags are displayed on city property and city rights of way, but it just has to clarify and have a policy that declares that it is city speech and not a public forum. So for tonight, I think what staff is requesting is direction on developing an official flag policy for the city of Orland. Once that's done, whether that policy is going to apply on Walker Street is kind of a separate issue that will have to work out with Caltrans or kind of figure out. We can come back and update the council on what we find out, but we really can't do anything until the city has an actual flag policy. So that's my recommendation, the contours of the flag policy, and then we'll come back with some kind of draft if that's the direction that the council needs to go.
Okay, so kind of a two-part thing. This issue of having a city policy, flag policy, and then the second thing is who is in control or how the Walker Street works since it's State Route 32 and Caltrans has a lot to say. almost all say.
Yeah, and just to clarify that, I don't have a firm answer on
Yeah.
whether that is exclusively Caltrans jurisdiction or not. I think it's gonna be something that's largely out of the council's hands. It's gonna be an enforcement issue, depending on how the policy is written. It'll really be between staff and Caltrans to decide who gets to control what goes up there. I know Caltrans has their own policies. Whether they choose to enforce them or not is kind of up to them.
Good. Any questions from members of the council for staff or clarification? Okay. I just make one comment before we go to the public. I think it's wise to remember why we have these meetings and why we meet together. And is to form a more perfect union, to establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. So again, we meet here to create unity, justice, tranquility. We have our defense. Welfare and liberty, and to secure it for all. And that's why we open this discussion, because we want to hear and we want to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're talking about flags and stuff. What does it cover the banner across 32 as well, or is that a separate animal?
So what's on the banner?
So usually it's like you got the fireman's ball, advertising type of thing. But I was thinking that something happened, like one of the groups wanted to say, they talk about the Heritage Day. If we put a banner that said Heritage, or they put a banner that says Heritage Day, Library Park, this day, da 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 da, that could be an option for them.
Yes, so it would depend on whether that's city controlled, if that's kind of the first issue. Is
So
that,
the
is
city
that right?
maintains it, and they're the ones that put up the banner.
Okay, the city does it.
And I think the group will provide the banner to the city, and then the city provides or puts up the banner.
Yeah, so that's something that we should address in the policy to make clear that, so if you look at Nantica's example, they have a provision that allows commemorative flags, various organizations, and it can be done, one of the options is with the city manager's permission. I think what's important is just that the city make clear that it's in control of the message that goes up there. But this is a city message, this is not a open public forum for anyone, because then we can't pick and choose. So I think that's a great.
Okay. So we do have that banner across with our own message.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comments from council? Questions? Very good. Thank you, Vice Mayor. All right, we will open to public comment. Just remember, the public is advised to limit discussion to one presentation per individual. While not required, please state your name and place of residence. Please direct all comments to the mayor or vice mayor, not to city staff or the audience. Public comment should be limited to 3 minutes.
Great topic, great discussion. My name is Sarah Bosley. I am a local Eagle Scout mom. My son during Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts would help line the streets with American flags, and it's been such a great part of the tradition and history for the city of Orland. The city of Orland is represented by so many different folks, and it's great to have them here. But more importantly, to know that the United States and America, what we represent is over 400 cultures. The United States also represents over 1,100 religious groups and 16,000 civil rights groups and social justice groups. Voting yes on this is going to be a logistical headache, as well as a political burden and an administration nightmare. Expect dozens of requests to come through. City Council must spend time debating it, and staff must track dates, designs, and requests of any of these flags that come through. It's going to be really important for City Council to adopt a very friendly and overall good flag policy. Flag policy from Manteca is fine, but I also want to point out that we have great representation for flags in the city of Anderson, as well as the city of Orland. Those two particular flag policies do not include commemorative flags. The reason why many cities don't allow to fly commemorative flags is because of legal safety. Unfortunately, if you're going to say yes to one group and you're not going to say yes to the other group, you could find yourself into a risking the violating the First Amendment. So that's really, really important. Again, I'm going to say that again. Cities do not usually adopt commemorative flag policies because you could potentially breach the First Amendment rights if you say no to one group. Also, one of the reasons why we only fly the American flag and the state flag as well is to remain politically neutral. We want to make sure that our city council and sure that our town is going to be united together. When you are flying flags of other countries, you have to make sure that you're representing all of the religious groups, all of the cultural groups, and even the French groups far left or far right. Again, if you say yes to this, you're going to have to say yes to far left and far right groups. And also, please note that May is National Military Appreciation Month. That overlaps Cinco de Mayo. It is also Jewish American Heritage Month. September is Suicide Prevention Month. What about Suicide Prevention Month? And lastly, in November, we have Native American Heritage Month and Literacy Month. The flag is to be flown to show unity, and that is what we fly underneath the American flag. The American flag represents unity. Thank you very much.
We want to give everybody a right to come up and say their piece. And relax. We're here together as a community, okay? We live together.
Yeah.
Let's be considerate. People have concerns and interests. They're all legit. They've got their right to feel and voice them. All I ask is, let's not have big crowd, applause and cheers. I understand you have your view. I want the meeting to run smoothly. And I want to hear everybody. And I appreciate everyone for being here. But we just want the meeting to run smoothly. That's what we're asking. So, love one another. Love your neighbor. We're all neighbors in here. Let us love our neighbors.
Mr. Mayor, just a point of order. There's a handful of people outside who are listening to speakers that are, the audio quality is not great. I might suggest if you could give them at least an opportunity to come in, if that's all right with sort of crowd control. There's not that many.
Okay, if they want to come over here, they're fine. All right, we're going to return to public comments. Again, thank you, and we appreciate it. We just ask that you show the respect. Please show the respect to your neighbor that you would hope your neighbor would show to you. That's what we're asking. Okay, let's.
Mind your own business.
Okay.
Trying to cut mine.
Okay, but we're trying to have public comment.
Oh, is this a line?
Yeah, there's a line there.
Oh, I was standing, no, I have to get out of over here.
I understand.
There's no line, we are sitting. Okay. Okay. Birthday girl just wants to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay. Shh, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, and thank you for your words previously. My name is Heather Chavez. I'm an Orland resident. I've been here the vast majority, more than 50 years. I went to school here, I worked here, taught here, raised my kids here. My husband is from the Hispanic community, my oldest daughter is from the Hispanic community, my 2 granddaughters are from the Hispanic community here in Orland. I call myself an honorary member of the Hispanic community, and I got that way by being neighborly and open-minded and non-judgmental and inclusive. I've hosted numerous community events in this town. I've taught hundreds of kids how to get a job in this town, all kids, inclusive of everyone. It was recently brought to my attention that a member of our community invited you into a space in our community. She sent a letter and invited you into that space out of respect. You have a personal decision coming up, maybe not tonight, but coming up with this policy. And I want to make sure you understand that it's not just your personal decisions of the 5 people. It becomes the official stance of the city of Orland once you vote. And that is reflected with all the people here, all the people who aren't here tonight, everyone who calls Orland home. What you decide makes that stance the city of Orland official stance. It is pretty much the way of the Hispanic culture to invite people in times when they need support, in times when they want to celebrate things. And I'm going to speed it up. You know, the farms in this area have profited millions and millions and millions of dollars over the decades from Hispanic labor. Most of those dollars are spent in some of the businesses that are represented by this council. I think that gets forgotten. I literally cringe when I think about it, like there's no connection between you eat the food, you listen to the music, you buy the products, and you hire the labor. And then there's a disconnect when it's time to be included in something as simple as a flag display. We don't need your permission to fly the Mexican flag in this community. We've invited you to participate in something that's important to us. I hope that you really think about that when it comes time to make a decision. Thank you.
And I just want to provide some clarification. The policy will have absolutely no effect on anybody's ability to fly whatever flag they want on private property, private businesses. This is strictly about city-owned property, city rights of way. Just to clarify. Thank you.
My name is Donna Barron, and I'm an Orland resident, but I live in the county. After hearing about tonight's discussion regarding the flying of Mexican flags during Mexican holidays, I felt compelled to write this letter. First, let me inform you that I am not a racist or any of the phobias so often spewed in those that might oppose something like this. I welcome anyone from anywhere to come to this great country and become a citizen to reap America's freedoms and greatness. All I ask is that you assimilate and love the United States of America as I do. And when you become a citizen, be self-sufficient and don't ask me to financially support you. I believe the flagpole holes on Highway 32 in Orland should only be used to hold the flag of the United States of America. The American flag is sacrosanct. Our flag stands for the many men and women that have fought and died for it, and for our love, dedication, and loyalty to America as #1. I understand the Mexican population wants to celebrate their heritage. That is surely fine, but they must do it by other means. There are a multitude of ways that can do that. posters, banners, billboards, and more. Not by replacing our country's flag with another country's flag, even if it is on a temporary basis. Dare I ask, do you think Mexico would allow us to fly our flag, our United States flag there? Once this is allowed, we will be inundated with any other flag of groups such as Islam, LGBTQ, Palestinian, and so many more. We would not have a leg to stand on to fight their claims of discrimination. I don't think you want to open that can of worms. As you can see from my address, of course I already said that, I do not live in the city, but rather the country. But Orland is my home. I have chosen to live in Orland because I love Orland, its people, and the small town ways.
Thank you.
Can I interrupt real quick?
No.
This woman just said an expletive at me, and I did get this on video. She said, F me, F you. It is on video. I happened to catch her. I don't feel safe here. Should I remove myself, or would you guys want to remove her?
I'll go. I didn't mean that by any means.
Oh, you didn't?
Bye-bye. I'd go. Sorry, guys.
If you guys want the video, I can.
Okay, she's left, okay. Again, we can have differing views. And that's what America is all about. You can have a different view, you have your right to speech. All I ask is that we are true to our principles. Be a kindly neighbor. Be true to what Orland is. Be a nice person, be a kindly neighbor. That's what I'm asking. So, again, I ask if you can hold the applause. I know you love your friend, you love what they said, but let's just hold it so we can get through this and get everybody, get their opinion, and they don't feel kind of closed down, okay? So let's just love our neighbor and show respect to one another. We all live in this town. When this meeting's over, we're gonna need each other to help each other, okay? We're gonna need to help each other. Somebody's gonna have to do something for you. And we're gonna do it for one another, because no one else is coming. So let's remember that. We're neighbors, and we can talk peacefully and kindly about this topic. Next public comment, please, no clapping and parading after the comments, please.
My mouth is really dry, so sorry, bear with me. My name is Michaela Ponce, and I wanted to emphasize one very important point. The decisions you make tonight must be based on facts, fairness, and the law, not on personal biases, friendships, or private conversations. Anything less would not only betray the trust of this community, but would risk violating our constitutional rights. The facts are undeniable. According to the City of Orland's own demographic data, 53.5% of our residents identify as Hispanic or Latino. That means the majority of people who live, work, and raise families here are represented by the flag we are asking to display during cultural holidays and celebrations. To deny that reality would be to erase the majority of the city's identity. The law is equally clear. Our request is fully supported by the First Amendment, which protects freedom of expression. Courts across the country have consistently ruled that government bodies cannot suppress expression simply because some disagree. There is also no violation to the U.S. flag code. Other communities across California have already set the example. Chico proudly displays multicultural flags downtown during their events. Willows and Hamilton City celebrate Mexican heritage as community festivals. Kelseyville lined its main street with Mexican flags last month. Larger cities like we know, Sacramento, San Jose, and Los Angeles have long displayed Mexican flags. These cities thrive because they embrace diversity, not fear it. Orland should be no different. This history is unshakable. Orland would not exist in its current form without Hispanic labor, families, and businesses. Our residents contribute as farm workers, teachers, nurses, businesses owners, and members of the military. Honoring this heritage through flags during Hispanic Heritage Month or Mexican Independence Day is not about division, it's about recognition, unity, and justice. And one final fact cannot be ignored. The downtown flagpole holes are Caltrans property. This council knows that, which means you may attempt to create the flag guidelines where legally you do not have to at all. Despite my formal request being hand-delivered on September 22nd, this matter was added to tonight's agenda quietly, without transparency or communication to us. That undermines the very trust and fairness you are obligated to uphold. So tonight, the choice is simple. Vote based on facts, and you represent the majority. Vote based on law, and you uphold your oath. Vote with prejudice or bias, and you violate the rights for more than half of this community.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Are you serious?
Sorry. Okay, good evening, everyone. Today I want to talk about California law, which may surprise some people. Who are you? Oh, sorry, my name is Brianne Lowe, Orland resident. Okay, so California law that may surprise some people about flying flags along our state highways. Under California Government Code Section 430 and the regulations enforced by Caltrans, only U.S. flags and the California state flag may be displayed on property that is part of the state highway system, which applies to Walker Street since it is also Highway 32. This isn't just about pride, it's about consistency, safety, and neutrality. Highways are public property maintained by taxpayer money. The state has to make sure that what's displayed along those routes represents everyone, not just one group, country, or cause. Allowing one foreign nation's flag would mean allowing all, and that would turn our shared public spaces into a patchwork of competing symbols. So when you see only the American flag or the California state flag flying along a state highway, that's not an accident, it's the law, a rule that protects fairness, safety, and unity on the roads we all share. I'd also like to point out that the U.S. Flag Code specifies that no other nation or international flag should be placed above or in a position of superior prominence to the U.S. flag on U.S. territory. This means if you fly a Mexican flag on your personal property, it needs to be below the U.S. flag and the same size or smaller. In conclusion, it is not up to City Council as to whether or not the Mexican flag may be flown on Walker Street, but Caltrans. And their law clearly states that only U.S. flag or a California state flag may be flown along the state highway. I know our City Council, with the advice of our city lawyer, will obey the laws and regulations of this great country, and I give them my blessing to enact a flag policy for all city-owned property to avoid any future conflicts. Vote no on Prop 50, and God bless America. Thank you.
Do I press the button or just start?
You're fine.
Good evening, my name is Savage. I stand before you as a proud Hispanic American, a straight, non-Christian, non-Republic, non-Democrat, but above all, a son of the soil. For nearly 20 years, I built businesses here, paid my taxes here, and poured my heart into the city. A city built, in no small part, by the hands of people that look like me. For generations, the Hispanic people of Orland have carried this community on their backs. We have built your homes, paved your roads, harvested your crops, served your families, and protected your street. Yet too often we've been seen not as equals, but as cheap labor. Not as neighbors, but as a class beneath. Let us speak plainly. We are not guests in this town. We are its foundation. We are the police officers who respond to your emergencies, the firefighters who run towards danger, the teachers who guide your children, the business owners who keep your economy alive. And mark this well, within a decade, the majority of these council seats will be held by Hispanic leaders. That is not a speculation, that is a demographic destiny. So tonight, as you weigh this decision, understand that you are deciding how history will remember all of you. If you choose to prohibit the celebration of Hispanic heritage, you are not just denying a flag, you are denying the truth of who we are. You cannot wave the Constitution in one hand and tear it in the other. History will record who stood for unity today and who stood for erasure. Whether you choose inclusion or fear or courage or cowardice, truth over silence. Make no mistake, your legacies will outlive you. But how they're remembered, that is still in your hands. If you stand against us tonight, history will not be kind to you. Your portraits will hang in the city offices, only to be removed by the same people that silenced you. You will be remembered not as defenders of freedom, but as the final architect of a dying prejudice. But as you have the courage to do what's right, to let the Hispanic heritage flags fly, not as a threat to your patriotism, but as a tribute to those who built this America, then you will be remembered of something greater. As leaders who have respect over division, courage over conformity, truth over fear. Because this is not about politics, this is about people. The heart of the city beats in Spanish and English, and rhythm, one purpose, one home. So I ask you tonight, stand on the right side of history, let those flags fly, let them remind every child, every worker, every dreamer in Orland that their story belongs here. Because this city, this America, was built by all of us. God bless.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Primavera, and I'm a proud Chicana. I was born here in the USA, the country my parents and grandparents came to with hope, faith, and a dream. They were immigrants who taught me to love this nation, to respect its laws, to contribute to its growth, and to be proud of calling it home. But they also taught me to love where I come from. They showed me my heritage is not something to hide, it's something to honor. My cultura, my lenguaje, my música, my tradiciones, they are the colors of who I am. To tell me I can't fly the flag that represents my family's sacrifices and roots in a country that was built on the backs of immigrants is not just unfair, it's redundant. Because my people helped build this place. We picked the fields, we build the homes, we raised the children. We serve this nation in the military, in schools, in hospitals, and yes, even in post offices. We are everywhere. My Mexican flag doesn't divide us, it celebrates us. It stands for resilience, hard work, and faith. The same values that America claims to stand for. To love one flag doesn't mean to hate another. Flying my flag doesn't make me any less American, it simply makes me whole. You can't tell a flower to bloom only half its color. We are both Mexicans and Americans, and that's something beautiful. I stand here not just for myself, but for every Chicano, every Latina, every mother, every abuelito, every young kid who deserves to see themselves represented, and to know that they belong here too. Mi cultura no divide, une. That means my culture doesn't divide, it unites. Thank you.
Thank you. Your comments.
Good evening, council members. My name is Hillary Crosby, and I want to express my support for the city taking proactive steps regarding the flag displays along Walker Street. I encourage the council to make a formal request to Caltrans for clarification and documentation on the existing flagpoles and the right-of-way. This will help prevent any potential misunderstandings and ensure that we are moving forward in compliance. It's important to note that option 1 on the staff report referring all flag requests to Caltrans could result in all flag displays being disallowed, as Caltrans has historically had a no flags policy due to potential safety concerns, these being right on the side of the road. And option 4, maintaining the status quo, really isn't an option under the Shurtleff v. City of Austin Supreme Court decision, which does require municipalities to define whether flag displays represent government speech or public forum. I also strongly support the development of a formal flag display policy for city property. This step brings legal clarity and fairness in allowing us to move forward transparently. Beyond the legal aspect, this is an opportunity to demonstrate Orland's commitment to inclusion and celebration of cultural heritage. Recognizing and celebrating the diversity of our residents builds stronger relationships, fosters community pride, and ultimately helps create a safer, more connected city for everyone. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. Your comments. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you see the mega hat, but that doesn't mean you're Republican, that means make America great again. Okay, I'd like to tell you, let everybody know here, my name's Jack Pendergrass. I'm a Vietnam combat veteran. I left several of my friends over there, unfortunately. I was fortunate enough to come home. I went over there, I volunteered to go there, because I volunteered for my military, and I volunteered for this flag. And when I come home, and I go down the street, and I see this flag displayed on the street, which by the way was already mentioned, that those holes were dug years and years ago to place these flags along our street. That gives me great pride in this town, my country. I don't disagree with the Spanish flag being thrown, but not where this flag has been thrown. This is a shrine to me and everybody else. My grandfather, my father, myself, and my son all served in the military. This flag on our street, this is for the American people. This is what we fought for. This is what a lot of my friends and people and other people that you know died for. I'm not saying again, if you want to fly your American flag and you want to sell or your Spanish flag, good. I agree with you. But you have a home to do that from. You can put that. I have a flag on front of my house. If you want to celebrate it, you really want to celebrate it, and you don't want to make an example and try to put it in
Please address us.
Okay. And you don't want to make it, and you don't have an agenda, then fly it at home. You want to celebrate, go to the park, put your flags there, have a picnic, do whatever you want. But don't take the integrity of this flag where it's been for all these years because you think it is. If you do that, what's going to happen is we're going to end up with Russia, Korea, China flags taking the same place. Because it can't be stopped once it's not stopped now.
Respect your name.
Thank you very much.
Okay, hey, remember I asked, and I gotta say, the last few groups have been really good about that, so thank you. So thank you for your service.
Hello, my name is Sarah King, I live out in Pay, so not a city resident. I want to take a little bit of time, since I have my time, to just pray for our community, because we need community. I don't care who you are, where you're from, we need community. So Heavenly Father, I just pray for this city council. I pray for this town. I pray for its members, that, like the council member said, if a storm came, if something happened here, we wouldn't care what our neighbor looked like or what flag they had. And I am all for the American flag. We would help each other. I pray that you bring that spirit of unity out in the name of Jesus. I pray for protection for our council members, for our mayor. I pray for a spirit of wisdom to fall on this council. And I pray for our everybody in this room, everybody listening outside, and every member of this county to see unity through you, Lord. Thank you for this time, and thank you for the ability to get up here and speak your name, Jesus, as well as the ability for everyone else to get up and give their opinions freely and respected. Thank you for it, Lord. I bless you in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
I just want to go ahead and start by thanking Mirasa that is here tonight, who could make it, those who could not, those who are tuned in, and everybody else that has an opinion here today. You know, that's what makes this place so great, you know, the freedom to express ourselves. And, you know, part of what has been, you know, said over and over again is the underrepresentation of our people. And then what you hear on the other side is that we need to assimilate and be under one flag to be united. And again, yeah, I can hear the talk back in the background. And I will say I have high blood pressure after what happened earlier. So I'll make this as quick and short as possible. There will always be people of color here, and there will always be different opinions. But one thing that this does not do is that this does not hurt you as an individual nor your family. If anything, that this will bring more closure to others in this community and help us bind. But it's seen as an attack, and it should not be. We are a peaceful people. We've always been that way. And you know, during the 90s, there were being people were being brought in from Mexico. People were being given these green cards to come here, and when these flagpoles were put in, we were coming in the legal way. And so now that there's so many people here, it's a bad thing. We should be all represented under this one flag. I just don't think that's exactly fair to say you guys must abide by this. That flag is to allow freedom, and that's not what it feels like to me.
Hello, my name is Janice Knopsinger and I live in Orland. And there's a lot of people that come over here to become citizens from all different countries. In the end, they all pledge their allegiance to the flag of the Union. We would not be able to fly our flag in Iran, in China, anywhere else. It is our flag. We have to honor our flag. As it's been brought up, they can fly their flag at their parties, at their home, but if they are citizens, they pledge their allegiance to our country and our flag. Thank you.
Thank you.
America the melting pot, a term coined in 1780 to describe a community of mixed nationalities, homogeneous, a cultural amalgamation lumped together indistinguishable from one another. It makes me think of fondue, one pale color. Bonded, yes, but is diversity truly celebrated? I don't see us as a singular mass, our colors and creeds mashed together as a monocultural work. I start beautiful community while I keep the guile. Not blended into invisibility, but each ingredient contributing to its own flavor and textures, given the space to bring something of their own to the table. What is our community to the table? What makes potluck such a fun communal event if everyone just brought the same dish? It wouldn't get a chance to explore another's taste and history. Our town is not a table, and Walker Street is not a potluck, but our community eats together, works together, and each benefit from one another. Representation matters. I would want to see my cultural background properly displayed and engaged with by my community as well, especially if I have contributed as much as the Hispanic community has to this town. And I ask you, what is the harm in allowing the Mexican flag to be flown? It is not a symbol of hate. It is not denouncing the American flag. It takes nothing away from what we have, but instead furthers opportunities for education and understanding. By disregarding your fellow neighbors' request to be represented, you are setting a precedent, whether you realize it or not. You can live here, you can work for us, contribute in silence, but we do not want to see you, and we do not want to make space for your culture. That is not the ideology I want to project onto my home. Orland belongs to us all. We all deserve to be seen. The Mexican flag is not my flag, it is not my heritage, but these are my neighbors, and this is my community, and I love them all.
Thank you. Any comments?
Good evening, everybody. My name is George Martinez. I'm here just representing myself. I didn't know about this meeting until Sunday. I have no notes. I'm just going to speak from the heart. I'm from East LA, born in East LA, second generation. When you live here, you come here for the purpose of being free. So I think, first of all, you've got to respect that and the flag that represents the freedom that we have, the privilege to have here. So there's nothing wrong with the Mexican flag or any other flag from any other country. But we do have to fly our flag first, like as somebody said, and then the other flags below the American flag. I happen to be one of the people that drilled the holes in the sidewalks. I was assistant scoutmaster with Jerry Kipper. He was the scoutmaster 25 years ago, or probably better than 25 years ago.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate your service.
Hey, no problem. And when we did not consider any other flags but the American flag. As Boy Scouts, as an assistant scoutmaster, that's what our goal was for the American flag. And furthermore, I just want to share one story. I brought my father here to live with me 3 years ago, and he only lasted 13 days. I brought him up from Los Angeles. He passed away pretty much in my arms. I brought a pamphlet home to my apartment so he could choose his urn. He chose an urn with an American flag and an American bald eagle. Now you're talking about a man that came from Mexico and was in the United States for more than 65 years. So no matter where you come from, you be proud and represent yourself in a good way in America and be proud of your heritage, but you are in America. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Darby here. I wasn't going to speak today because I have speaking problems with people, and I don't like confrontation because that leads to bad things happening. I think in America we should not celebrate any country's independence but our own. As far as underrepresentation, we celebrate the Day of the Dead. In our schools, in Mill Street School, in Fairview School, they build shrines, they put up pictures, they have a parade. I don't like it, but it's what goes on. So I just have my kid not included in it, okay? As far as Cinco de Mayo goes, I don't agree with celebrating it because it was about a war between the French and the Mexico in Mexico. But in 1973, I believe, is when the Mexican community said that represents them. And so, to find some middle ground, I would not mind having the American flag in the honorary position and the Mexican flag next to it. In this country, that's how it's flown. If you have two flagpoles, the American flag's on the left and the other countries on the right, going by alphabetical order if you have any more than one, okay? That's my personal opinion. Celebrate what you want. Use the town banner. I don't really care. I think we should celebrate Cesar Chavez Day. I wouldn't mind seeing both flags up. But just to put one other country's flag up is not good. That's how I feel. Some things, yes, we could come together as a community. Other things you're just going to celebrate by yourself. You know? And a lot of people want to bring up St. Patrick's Day. We don't put Irish flags up on our streets. And St. Patrick's Day is more about Christian than Irish because St. Patrick was from Great Britain. He was taken as a slave as a teenager by Irish slavers and lived that way for 6 years before he escaped. And then he returned to Ireland to spread the Christian message. And I think, honestly, you know, that's where I'm at with it. You know, if you want all Mexican flags, I'm going to say no. I'm just going to support our flag. But I don't want to support anybody's independence. I don't want to see German flags up either to support the fall of Hitler. Okay? And it's not no joke. My history, my ancestry is so mixed between German, white, European, Scandinavian. Like, American history, that's my culture, is America. And, you know, that's all I got to say about it. Celebrate how you want, have parades in the town, have some good cookouts. If I drive by and smell good food, know I'm coming to eat. I don't care who you are. Thank you.
Was there anything else?
Thank you, sir.
No, ladies first. Ladies first, for sure.
This is really off the cuff, I have nothing planned, but it just.
Can't hear ya.
Okay, it just occurred to me, you know, I'm the only one born in this country. And my mom's from England, my dad's from Germany. And I'm a Baptist, I was married into Orland as a Baptist. You know, I'll tell you, I've had the fortunate ability to travel all over the world. And we have family that's married to people in Guadalajara, in Mexico. My daughter speaks fluent Spanish. I speak some French. And we have traveled all over. And I will tell you this, my family, we integrated. And I know that my grandparents were very thankful. My parents were very thankful. They remember things that were going on in England and in Germany, especially my grandparents. And they're so thankful. They would never think of putting up the British flag or a German flag anywhere. And I will say this, everywhere I have been in Mexico, and I have been all over Mexico, I have never, ever seen on the city streets an American flag flying. They would not permit it. Now, if you wanted to fly it in your home, somewhere like that, somewhere private, personal, they're going to allow that. But there's no way on God's green earth you're going to go to the city of Mexico or any of the other larger cities and you're going to see an American flag flying.
That said, that is a wonderful thing about this country. It's a land of the free, home of the brave. But we also need to appreciate that and remember that this is where we're at. This is a country where most people came here to flee or maybe get away from where they were. So I think in showing your appreciation for that, we need to give the flag the respect. And that's what I think some of the people have been saying is the sanctity of that flag and what people have actually died for. And we need to keep that in mind.
Thank you. Good comment.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Vice Mayor of the Council, Chief Flash, and Councilor Brexby. Congratulations, Mr. Goodman, on your appointment. My name is Vern Montag. I live in Orland. I have a number of properties around Orland. So, I want my comments, I hope my comments are unifying. I don't mean to be divisive. I hope that they're received that way. I'm a proud founding member of the Orland Flag Society. We start talking about drilling holes. 32 realignment, there was a lot of new sidewalks in town. I can tell you who drilled those holes. And it wasn't just me, because we had to get a generator and a hammer drill and stuff. So I want to just state that I participated in those holes. Matter of fact, probably most of them at this point, the holes that are there now. Not that that matters, but as we began this meeting, we all stood and we pledged allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. It's not a racist flag. It's not a protest. It unifies us. We're all immigrants, every one of us. The only people that aren't immigrants is anybody that's 100% Native American. I don't know a single one. Even Native Americans are half-breeds and mixtures. We're all immigrants. The flag is what unites us. It doesn't divide us. It unites us. It unifies us. It's not a racist thing. And America represents all races, all cultures, all religions. America is a set of values. And we, as a culture, as Americans, we celebrate all kinds of cultures. We celebrate St. Patrick's Day, Day of the Dead, Oktoberfest, and Chinese New Year, name it. We do them all. And we unite under one flag. Culture is great, but we unite under one flag. And no other flag the American flag should not share the stage with any other flag. The culture, there's lots of Hispanic people in this town. Not all of them are from Mexico. We're from all over the world. All cultures, all races, all religions. I think the counselor could probably tell you about some of the codes. I was looking up some codes, the California Street Highway codes. I think it's I wrote down subsection 650.5 that regulate, that talk about setting flags on state routes. And that's kind of a legal issue for your counselor to discuss with you. But I just want to say that being an American has to mean something. It should mean something. If it doesn't mean something, it doesn't mean anything. So with that, I'll yield back. Thank you.
Can't hear you.
I'm Dr. Eugene Cleek. Our family's a newcomer here to this area. We came in 1850. Having said that, I've had an unbelievable experience in life. God has blessed us so, blessed America so. My heritage on the other side is not that long. It's my grandfather on my mother's side came from Denmark. When they came here, they came here as Americans. As we came here for Americans, it was lived as Americans for a long time. They never flew a Danish flag. It doesn't mean that we don't respect Denmark. It doesn't mean that we don't respect Mexico. But I don't intend to come to Orland to see a Colombian or Venezuelan or any other flag except an American flag. When we started, I pledged allegiance to the American flag. That's where we are. Can I just make a recommendation to the council here? if we want to bring in other flags, and one of them, why don't we bring in Black Lives Matter and gay flags and flags from Venezuela, flags from Iran? If you do it for one other country besides America, I believe you're obligated to do it for every person that has something in the game. And that's not America. America's America. Everybody is here, privileged. We have our rights, our God-given rights. God has lost our country so. Let's be Americans. Celebrate your history. I've lived in different countries for 8 years. I've lived in Mexico, I've lived in Africa, I've been in the Gulf War. I've seen it all. I'm an American. It's an American flag in a different country. God bless you. Come. We want you here. But it's America. And can I just say, and I'll be very quick here, I have a minute and 18 seconds left, and my wife always tells me to hold it down, so I want to do that. If you all grant other countries and other heritages like a flag, then I'm going to demand that you fly the flag of my political party. And I don't think you're going to do that, and you shouldn't do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Beth Bjorklund. We put out the flags on Labor Day. It was beautiful to see all the flags. And we honored the American workers in the labor movement for their contribution to building the nation. My question, I just have a question, and that's all. Why did we put out the flags again a week later? And nobody is asking that question.
Yeah.
And you're not even saying anything about the political, you want to flag your, I mean,
For Charlie Cook.
I mean, I don't understand that, and I just wanted to know, I didn't know who the right.
We don't, the city doesn't really control those flags. We haven't controlled it. That's one of the whole issues. That's one of the issues that's here before us today, is that they seem to be that, but we don't control them. We haven't. So we understand that issue. It's been brought up, but we don't control them currently. And that's one of the issues that's been brought up by this request. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joni Woods. I want to begin by saying that I truly appreciate everyone's effort to keep their heritage and traditions alive, no matter which nationality or background we come from. That is something to be proud of and deeply respected. Our different cultures and stories are what make our community rich, colorful, connected in so many meaningful ways. I don't believe most people are against celebrating heritage. In fact, it's one of the things that makes our community special. But I do believe that many also feel a deep sense of pride and patriotism in the American flag and want to protect what it stands for. For myself, when I drive down our street and see 100 American flags waving together, I feel as if we are all one, united and proud of our country, no matter where we came from. We are all ultimately Americans. The American flag includes all of us. That is true inclusion. It doesn't represent the countries all of our ancestors left behind, such as Portugal, Ireland, Germany, Vietnam, Mexico, to just name a few. All of our ancestors came here from a foreign land in search of a better life. The American flag represents all of us, no matter our nationality and the nation we share today. I really don't see people objecting when other national flags are flown on homes or businesses or during cultural celebrations, and that's wonderful. Those are great ways to honor individual heritages, but I believe the American flag is what unites us, not separates us or points out our differences or beliefs. I respectfully disagree with the idea that citizens who wish to see only the American flag displayed along our highways and city streets are racist. I believe their intent is rooted in patriotism and love for the United States. Many of these same individuals support businesses owned by people of different nationalities, or such as a valued teacher, brave police officer, and healthcare professionals from diverse backgrounds. And they work alongside co-workers and friends from around the world. Wanting the American flag to represent our public spaces does not take away from their respect for other cultures. It reflects their pride in the country that has brought us all together. The American flag represents every one of us, no matter our religion, nationality, color of skin, sexuality, or beliefs. It stands as a powerful reminder that we are all part of something greater than ourselves. One nation built on freedom, equality, and opportunity. While our individual backgrounds and traditions make this country beautifully diverse, the American flag is what binds us together. It doesn't belong to one group or another. It belongs to all Americans. When we see it waving in our hometown street, it reminds us that despite our differences, we share common hopes, values, and responsibilities. My opinion is that the American flag should be the only flag flown by the masses along our city streets. However, I fully support and encourage the celebration of heritage and culture through community, school events, banners, or displays that highlight individual traditions. Those are beautiful ways to honor who we are and where we came from.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sharon Lizardo, and I'm an Orland resident. And Pookie, like you, I'm a newcomer. I've only been here 44 years. I know 1850 beats me, but 44 years is a pretty big chunk of time. Thank you. Just a couple thoughts. We have many areas in Orland where folks can gather and celebrate their cultural heritage. These areas are available to anyone in Orland. We have Benson Haler, Laley, Library Park, the fairgrounds where there are concerts and events, the Saturday Mexican market. Anyone can legally fly a foreign flag at their private residence and business. But regarding state, city, county buildings, and this may have been mentioned before, a foreign special permission from the Director of General Services, the DGS, is required. If a foreign flag is displayed, it should give prominence to the U.S. and state flags. Governments may enact reasonable time, place, and manner regulations, but these cannot contradict state law giving precedence to the U.S. flag, and I know that's been mentioned here today. Regarding the flagpole holes on Walker Street, they were created by the Boy Scouts with permission from Caltrans with the purpose of honoring U.S. holidays and veterans by displaying the United States flag. I certainly do not mind seeing Mexican flags around town. That's great. Celebrating your culture and your holidays. And please don't take offense at this. But I do not want to drive down Walker Street surrounded on both sides with a foreign flag. I'm sorry, I just don't. And if I want to see the American flag, and if you cannot support the American flag only in this venue, I would prefer not flying flags at all. And that's not racist. Anyone who is born here is a legal resident or a naturalized citizen of the United States has won the lottery. The United States is still the best and freest country in the world. And like someone else here, I have traveled gratefully to over 17 countries in 5 continents. And although I enjoyed experiencing those different cultures for that brief time that I had, there is no place like home. And the thing that I'm missing these days is simple gratitude and respect.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for holding this public hearing. My name is Janet Jonte. I live outside of the city limits of Orland, but Orland is my address, my mailing address. I've often thought when saluting the flag that the flag is a symbol, and what we really are saluting is the Constitution of the United States and our country. And being proud of the flag is good because it's a symbol that we are proud of our country. But these days I'm concerned. There are people who are U.S. citizens, there are people living here legally, and there are undocumented people who are afraid to walk out in public without having identification, because people are being swept off the streets. And there are laws, but the manner in which our government is handling this sweep of what they say is undocumented citizens is really not an American way. I am very concerned. This is not what I expected our country would be. And I care for our community, and I'm glad that we have a public forum where we have people from different viewpoints coming and sharing what they believe and what they think. And I know there are laws that you will look into as to what we can do as far as displaying flags. But that is a small thing in light of what is going on in this country. And I thank you for listening to us, because I care about Orland. I'm a relative newcomer, but I've grown to care about the town and find that there are treasures, there are wonderful people here, and I appreciate Orland, and I appreciate the work that you're doing and that we all are doing, and I do believe we should be able to live in peace. But there are some deep, deep divisions that we have to work on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Judy Josefel. I'm an Orland resident. I want to say that this soil we're standing on, this building is United States soil. This is the United States of America, okay? We are all American citizens. Now, I'm a German American. My great-grandparents came from Germany, and my heritage is very much German. We have German Unity celebrations, Ascension Day, and I don't care what your heritage is. Everybody has some kind of celebration that they do. It's wonderful. But I don't think on a public display or on a public street that the only flag that should be flown is the United States flag of America. And I am proud of it. I believe in it. I respect it. I have a husband who died in Vietnam because of this flag, supporting this flag. My second husband and I both served in the Air Force for this flag. I know there's other veterans out here that have served also, and I think either, and I agree with Sharon, either only the United States of America flag should be flown or none. I don't want to see any foreign flags flown prominently in a place of honor on our streets. I love this country, and I feel that also you've got to be careful. I know that we have a constitution and so forth, but you can't be seen as discriminatory. Do you want the Ku Klux Klan flag flown? Do you want the Confederate flag flown? Do you want the anti-Semite flag flown? Or the anti-Hamas flag? I don't think so. But if you open it up to one, you have to be careful who you can't allow flying that flag. Again, I love this country, and I love all the people that are here and that are truly American citizens, and I want to see them respect the American flag. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go. Yes. Yeah, one over here.
Okay, hi. I was just saying I didn't plan on speaking tonight, but I feel compelled to do so. My father was military, and so I feel like I'm speaking on his behalf. We moved to Orland in 1972 when my father retired from the Air Force after 22 years service. He brought home a Canadian wife, and so my mother, I'm Canadian. My son just married a gal from Brazil who recently obtained her green card. I have 2 Hispanic grandchildren. I have an African-American niece. So it's broad in my family. What makes me sad is to feel that when I look around this room and I look at certain faces, that there's sad because they don't feel valued. That's heartbreaking. That's really, really heartbreaking because you are valued. When I moved here in 1972 as a second grader, my best friend was Mexican, and my other best friend is from Italian heritage. So I've loved them. I've just loved everyone, and that's what it should be about, is love. Love, that's what we're here for. I mean, I appreciated the prayer, and I pray for all of you, and I pray for all of you. And I know when you shake your heads and feel, you don't feel valued, but you are. You're valued, you are loved, you are a child of God. So, we are, how are we not? I don't understand how we're not. I mean, my friends, I don't get it. So, anyway, it's a big decision. I don't know, just go with your heart and go with your soul. And as for me, I love you all. All.
Hi, I'm Orland City. My grandparents came from Denmark. We are a melting pot, and I feel like as we come together tonight, we're not going to disrespect your flag. I think we're going to elevate the American flag. We lived in Africa for 4 years. In Africa, we saw children going to bed in dry season, hungry. And we saw them not able to pay for kids to go to school. America is a great country. We don't, by and large, have kids going to bed hungry. We don't have kids having to stop their education after 3rd grade. America has provided for all of us. It's a country of liberty and justice, freedom for all. We used to go to Mexico, to the city of Guerrero, to the Oaxacans, and help build houses, our family did, because they were living in cardboard houses covered with plastic. We just don't see that in America, and yet that was common for that area. America is a land of opportunity, and as we come together, we want to honor our country. We do that by honoring our flag, and it's not a thing of we're wanting to put down the Mexican flag, but we're wanting to honor America as the flag of opportunity, the flag of our country. And we feel like, as we do that, we don't want to see another flag of another country come in competition with our flag. We all rejoice in the opportunities that we have in America. It's unbelievable what we have. The financial freedoms that we have. We're not under drug cartels. We're not under communist country, a communist regime that is so oppressive. We have amazing freedoms. We're seeing things changing, but it's still the flag that represents all that we have as America. And so it's just my heart to say, we're not meaning to disrespect the Mexican flag. We're meaning to elevate the American flag.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Kelly Day. None of you know me by that last name, you know me as Kelly Lyons. My family has been here for many, many years. My grandmother's property has provided food for this community for many, many years. She's no longer with us. We still own that property. We're still pushing out the olives. Traditional Mexican ways, I guess. Now, I don't look Mexican, right? I walk out here, you don't think I'm Mexican by looking at me. When I was younger, I always thought, why don't I get treated the same way as the other Mexican kids? Why don't they make fun of me? Because I don't look like that. And from then, I have always fought for my Mexican heritage. I am absolutely proud to be in this country, the land of the free, where I can celebrate and learn my Mexican heritage. We are not trying to disrespect the American flag. If the American flag is so unifying, if your people are so unifying, why is this such a big deal? What is divisive, and I understand you're going to think about this when you go and look at implementing a possible policy, is 2 weeks ago, as the woman asked, why was that flag flown right after Labor Day? We all know why it was flown, and it was disgusting. That should not happen. That person had nothing to do with this community. That person spoke hate and division to people of my heritage. I did not talk while you were talking. That should not be allowed.
Okay, hey, please.
I don't need to, that man doesn't need to have his name said anymore. You're disrespectful.
Okay.
You guys are
Okay,
doing
good.
what she wants you to do, just be quiet.
I don't want you to do anything.
Okay,
I'm giving you
please
all the
address
same
us.
respect.
Please address us. We're the ones that will make the decision.
Take that into consideration. We're not gonna fly the American flag for somebody who had nothing to do with this community, was not a politician, had no business being remembered that way, because he was not that way for many people in this community. Many people in this community. Aside from that, I'm gonna go back to, we're not disrespecting the American flag. We have done our research. You wanna talk about flying flags from other countries aside from Mexico? That's fine, go create your society, get the donations, like we did, and do the same thing. We're not gonna argue it, as long as it's not a flag of hate. We don't need to be compared to the KKK and all these other things that are you serious right now? Why is that even being brought up when you're talking about flying a Mexican flag? The people in your community that fund this community, that have ran this community, that deserve to be recognized. My tia, my great aunt, she still lives here. Her heart would completely melt if she were to drive down the street, be driven down the street, and see those Mexican flags flying. I just know how much that would bring her to tears and how much joy that would bring to her and so many other people in this community, all of my tias and my abuelitas in this community. Thank you.
My name is Naomi Davis. I live here in Orland. I was born and raised in Mexico, and I moved here when I was 21 years old. 6 years ago, in Cleveland, Ohio, I have the privilege to make this oath, and I still believe it to death today. I'd like to read it to you. I hereby declare an oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America. I love my birthplace of Mexico, but I am 100% American. And I love the American flag. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Erin Casero. I didn't plan on speaking, I'm going to go quickly, but I am here to say I'm glad that this issue brought up the creation of a flag policy. I think no matter what flag is flown, it should be flown for a reason. Like they kept bringing up, I couldn't see from back there, but like helping your neighbor, loving your neighbor, being a part, and only for unity. So no matter what flag is flown, the reason behind that flag should not be to divide others. And that's really why I'm here today. I personally think it was said a big part of our community, 50% is of Hispanic heritage, and I believe also that within the next 10, 20 years, more Hispanics will be presented hopefully in our local government. But the big issues, I really think a flag policy needs to be created, and one that, no matter what flag is flown, that it is not being used in a manner that shows hate to others. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lopez, and I actually was born in Orland. I was born behind the Pizza Palace when it was an ambulance substation in 1977. It's amazing to see how a flag, can divide our community. You know, Mayor Romano was saying that we need to be united. We do, we need to be united, because worse days will come. We need to make sure that we are united as Americans, as Mexican Americans, as any other culture, country in America. We need to make sure, because we're going to need each other. We're all doctors, nurses, dentists, teachers, anything. We will eventually need each other as a community. So love each other, be kind to each other. Don't let something as simple as a flag that you don't agree with become your demise. We need each other. Orland is a small community. We need to love each other. You'll need me, I'll need you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Alex Nicholas, Orland resident. I'm not as eloquent as many of the producers, but the flags did go up 2 weeks ago for Charlie Kirk, and I personally was disgusted by that. He may have represented, in my view, he may have represented American values, but he also conveyed a certain despicable rhetoric. I enjoy seeing the American flags up on Walker Street, and I do not want to give that power to Caltrans, that's for sure. And if, I'm sure we can come to a compromise, and if anything, we should stick to the federal holidays at a minimum, and this may not be the night to make that decision, but perhaps we can take, like I was saying, a compromise of other specific holidays or events that we come to agreement to. Maybe have a space in front of City Hall instead of Walker Street. But I really do enjoy seeing the American flag being flown on 32. As far as flying other country flags, I mean, we are American. As much as I'd like to see Mexican flag, it'd be nice to support my heritage. We are American. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
I'm Jeanette Smith, and my maiden name is Anelka. I was adopted and raised by a family that came over here as Hispanic Indians. They came here, they did it the right way, they became Americans. They fought in World War II, they fought in Vietnam, they fought in every war since. And they never thought about flying a Mexican flag. They came in from Mexico, became Americans, and flew the American flag. I went to Cinco de Mayo celebrations. I went to quinceañeras. I learned their heritage, and I helped them to honor their heritage. But we're Americans. We fly under an American flag. That's what they fought for. I have no problem with somebody flying their Mexican flag right there in their backyard or in their front yard or on their front door. But on the main streets of America, we need the American flag. I have no problem with anybody in this building. I'm a Christian and I love y'all. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Joseph Bauer, resident. Mr. Mayor, see you smiling. Good evening. Yes, I'm from here, not originally, actually Hamilton City. But my family, both sides of my family, go back 4 generations from this community. My mom was born right at Catch Corner over here, and my grandmother was born here as well. But since we've kind of been going back on heritage here. But growing up in Hamilton City, obviously, most of my best friends were Hispanic Mexican people. Sat at the dining room tables, tearing the tortillas and eating with them. Very welcoming people. I was out in the fields pulling weeds right alongside my friends. So, I know what that backbreaking work is like. But I think we have to remember when we're talking about the flag, what it represents. It represents a great experiment, an idea. Tell me another country that has liberated millions upon millions of people, and the only thing that we asked for was a place on their soil to bury our dead men and women on their soil. We've liberated many countries. That's what this stands for. This stands for freedom. We go around the country as a country, we go around the world and liberate That's what we do. So this is about what this flag means, not about other ethnic groups and so forth. It's about America. And I'm afraid if we have a position that was designated specifically for this flag, and now we're going to use it for another flag, that will cause division in and of itself. All we ask, as my two foster sisters that were Mexican, that my parents took in, they are very successful, but they call themselves American. Not American Mexican, not Mexican, American. So please, you're going to come here, you're going to love this country, assimilate. Be an American. Thank you very much.
Nice to see you all again. Welcome to the new city manager. I said, welcome to the new city manager. I haven't had a chance to say that. I came tonight to get information about how all this came about. Someone called me very upset one day about flags being flown. And was asking, and I hadn't been to town, so I didn't see any flags. So I basically came here for information. Were flags flown on an unusual day?
It's my understanding they were, and again, I'll re-emphasize that's one of the reasons we're probably here today is because they were flown, as someone said, I believe on Charlie Kirk's memorial service. Again, I'll emphasize the city is not in charge of the flags, has not been in charge of the flags. It's been the Flag Society. That's one of the discussions here, and if you look at the Manteca, there was, particular days you could fly the flags and those types of things. So, why it was brought up at this time, why the letter was sent to us at this time, I don't know why in particular, I just know it was. The other thing I'll point out is, we have a lot of topics to discuss and a lot of things people want to talk about. The fact that you can send a letter to us and get your letter on the next city council agenda is not a sign that you've been disrespected. It's actually a sign that you've been heard and respected. And you need to understand that, because there are 20 or 30 items that could have been discussed today. But we respected the people who requested it because they're part of our community and we heard what they were saying. And we put it to the front. And the other thing we did is we moved everything off. We only left one thing because it had to be on it because we promised we would do the budget in the 1st of October. That's the only other item we put on. So we saw the importance of it, and we wanted to hear people's opinion. And I am grateful for everyone who's come here and shared their opinion. I have learned much, and I appreciate all your comments. So again, just to emphasize, we really didn't have any control over it. We really didn't monitor it. It was not something. I don't know. I don't think that's the reason it was. Maybe it was. I thought it was just someone who was interested in celebrating their Hispanic heritage, and so they sent the letter, and it just happened to coincide. So I think that's why we're here. That's my opinion. And so grateful, and I think we hear our friends in the community. We hear what they've said. So anyway, that answers that question. Probably too long-winded, but
Well, I just...
Can I make a statement real quick? You guys are bringing up Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was killed September 10th. Okay? What falls after September 10th? September 11th.
That's right.
We're reading September 11, 2001, when 3,000 Americans were killed during a terrorist attack.
That's right.
So we have to remember that the flags were already going to be posted. My understanding, anybody from the Flag Society here?
No,
Because
they
you
were
guys
the
put up
following
flags
Sunday.
every year.
It was the following Sunday.
okay.
It wasn't for September 11th. It was the following Sunday.
Okay.
And it was specifically stated that it was for Charlie Kirk. It was specifically stated.
And again,
We should probably move back to public comment, like a public comment
finish and then.
Okay, Colin, go ahead, sorry, I just
Well,
want to
I
answer those
just
questions.
wanted, because I've come to many meetings before, and many meetings talk about how we want to represent Orland. I mean, how to get people here, how, you know, we've got this freeway going by. So part of those flags represent Orland, whatever they're flown for. It's representing something, the citizens, your constituents, and all of us. So we do need to be very careful about why those flags fly. Because to some people, there's a divide. Some people really wanted to put him on a pedestal, and other people were very, very offended. So all I want to say is, I think it's important that they represent our city and our people in this city. And we have to be careful of what we're selling. And that's kind of what it says. What you say about your city, if, you know, and who you're putting on a pedestal. So, because I know that it is important to our economic engine, because that's what it's all about, at least to a lot of the meetings that I come to. I mean, not everything. It's about recreation for the children and everything else, but how we present ourselves and what we want to say to the world about who Orland is and who the people of Orland are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Valerie Johnson. I wasn't going to speak again, but I feel picked out as well. It's very disturbing to hear some the anger and the resentment. I feel like there's some chips on some shoulders. I feel it and sense it, and I just want to say that we really do want to not ignore the fact that we are living in a spiritual world. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness and principalities in high places. And we see it in no one, no matter what side you are. It's not Republican, Democrat, no matter what your faith or non-faith is. We still all bleed red. We're all humans. We belong to the human race, not any particular where our geographical beginnings began. But I think that we should really remember that we are spiritual beings as well, and we have souls. We really need to really search our hearts on why we have any anger if we do, or feeling that we're slighted, or if there's some here that feel that they're being abused or some way, or mistreated or offended, because that shouldn't be the case. Nobody should be victimized or feeling like they're a victim. It's all spiritual. It's actually physical. So with that, we need to pray for one another. I really appreciate the prayer. That's about all we really have left to do, what we should be doing first and foremost, and try to love each other.
Thank you.
My name is Marissa Hogue. I battled with whether I was even going to come up here today, because when I made my comment about the American flag standing for all of us, and on the post, immediately you're called a racist. I love all my neighbors. I have so many friends and family that are Mexican. I'm married to a Portuguese man. I love my neighbors. This is America. The American flag is the only one that should be flown. Charlie Kirk was mentioned up here. I feel like because so many people want to label you for voicing your opinion, he was a huge movement. He wasn't a racist, and I challenge anybody to show me a video that proves otherwise. He went to schools and he wanted to debate. He wanted to know the opposing side's opinion. And he was shot for it. That's on America.
Okay, hey, please, our neighbors, concerns, we just want to be good to everybody. Public. Any other public comments?
I really debated on whether or not I should say this, but in my opinion, if we fly a flag from another country in place of the American flag, we are showing plagiarism to that country. This is the United States of America.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
My name is Manuel Quintel. I'm a two-time Iraq veteran. I guess to know what the American flag represents to me and so many people that I served with, it pains me to know that we're having these kinds of conversations. I've heard so much about people wanting to allow or just like the heritage, the Cinco de Mayos, the parks, the parties, the gatherings. Nobody wants to see that stop. Nobody wants to see anybody holster their love for where they hail from, by any means. What I'm seeing most is that they don't want to see it take the place or stand next to, in parallel or in place of, the United States of America flag. That flag right there. Should we have the Mexico flag right here? Because our city council and because of our people were 53% or 70% or 90%, it doesn't matter. I mean, should the Mexican flag be in our city council? Should our Mexican flag be represented by our President of the United States? Like, at some point, you gotta know where and when to draw a line, and you're gonna hurt people's feelings. I think all of us have had our feelings hurt. I'm Mexican Portuguese. I'm French and German. I mean, my name is Manuel Quintel. I get telemarketers speaking to me, calling on the phone in Spanish because they think I speak Spanish. I don't. I got a D in English. Spanish is not going to work for me. My point being is that I know that there is a lot of love in this community, and I hate to see everybody divided, and so I hope y'all who are in charge, y'all got a tough job ahead of you. And regardless, I'm sure we'll figure it out. So, thanks for your time.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I appreciate, yeah, we all appreciate it. Thanks.
Mr. Mayor, City Council members, thank you. It seems as though you are bearing the brunt of something that you are not in control of. Thank you for the opportunity to allow everyone to share. I spent 10 years in Mexico. I love Mexico. It's already been said, I've never seen the American flag fly there. And anybody asks me, where do you go eat? Where do you want to go to eat? Guess what? It's a Mexican restaurant. I love the food. So thank you for trying to understand something that's hard to understand, each one of you. Thank you for your service.
My name is Kyla Super. I'm an Orland resident, and I just want to say that it seems like maybe there's a idea that raising the Mexican flag is an either or, and I really think the way it has been presented is in the spirit of a both and, that people can be proud to be here in the United States and proud of their Mexican heritage. It doesn't take away from anything else. I don't personally have Hispanic heritage or culture, and I think it's a really beautiful idea, and I don't feel like it takes anything away from me. I don't think it's an either or, I think it's a both and I think that if we can embrace the spirit of that, it can really make us stronger as a community. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Hello, I'm Dee Dee. I'm a county resident. Like a bunch of people said, we weren't planning on coming up here, but I did hear a lot of things about, well, as a person of color, da-da-da-da. I mean, I've had a business here for over 5 years. I am a person of color. I'm a minority here. My father is Jamaican. I am American. I want the American flag up here. I love celebrating Mexican culture. My husband, or fosband is what I call him because we're not technically married, he's Mexican. My daughter's Mexican. When I go eat, we go to Mexican places. I mean, we put on a lot of events down here. I mean, I would love to see parades celebrating the history, you know, their culture. I mean, it's a beautiful culture, the colors, the dances, all of these things. I would personally volunteer to help in any way that I can to help put things on like that. I don't think it's a matter of, you know, we don't want the culture here or anything like that. I mean, we're very diverse here, and our cultures, all of our cultures matter where we come from. If you come to my house, you're going to eat some weird stuff from Jamaica, but I mean, that's just me, and I appreciate everybody else and what they eat, what they do. I just don't feel like that should be lined up because you do open the door, you know, I mean, then it could be religious flags, and I mean, I'm not asking for a Jamaican flag. I hear a lot of people from different backgrounds are not asking for their flags either. I think even that huge banner that, you know, costs a lot of money, over 32, like that would be wonderful to have that, you know, when there is an event coming, even on the side of the buildings. I mean, that's the stuff that we should have. We should see that. We want to see that. So that's my two piece, and I appreciate you guys listening to everything I have to say.
Do we have any other public comment?
Can I?
Yes.
I just walked in, but.
We're not closed.
I was at a meeting today, and someone brought to my attention that they want to fly Mexican flags over the city. And I'm a firm believer that our flag already represents the totality of the immigrants that come here. And I think it's a disrespect to everybody who's fought, whether it's Mexican, American, African, I don't even like saying those colors, but everyone everywhere that has shed blood under that flag, to have another flag raised in our country like that. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's disrespectful. I think whoever is doing it, pushing that agenda in our community, is being highly disrespectful. And I got my shirt on here. I don't represent the voice of my lodge, but I did hear about it, and I wanted to come and say something on my own. I don't agree with it as a citizen of Orland and as a taxpayer. I have a trucking company here, and as someone who pays a lot of taxes, I don't agree with it. Not for, you know, what we're doing here. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments? Public comments. Okay. We're gonna.
My
My English is not good at all, okay? I'm a Mexican, pure Mexican. This is the first time I'm talking in front of the American people. I'm nervous, very nervous. Okay, I'm a housekeeper. I came to United States when I was 15 years old, married to a Mexican guy. When I was driving through the border, I wasn't thinking or looking for any flag. I was looking to escape Mexico. Okay? It wasn't easy. My life, it wasn't easy. I didn't have a father. We had to work since I was 7 years old to survive. But when I came over here, I was like blinded. I was like, who's that? Who this place over here? I mean, where's America? What's this, you know? Sorry for my English again.
Far better.
But I'm so grateful that God brought me to United States. Because in Mexico, I tried to kill myself for the life I was living, okay? God, because I'm a Christian, God teach me to love United States. I would never wish or think about having a Mexican flag. Not in my house, not in the streets. The only thing I'm doing, and I do every day, is to work hard to provide my cleaning services to all you guys. I'm expensive though. But I don't feel ashamed for what I do. And you know what? I love the American people because they open the doors to me. They trust on me. And I never asked them to change to my culture. Never in my whole life. I have 30 years in the United States. And I have 4 beautiful children that I teach them to work so hard to survive in the United States. Do not use the system, do not use medical, do not use nothing. They don't belong to them. I teach them to work hard. We're not perfect. We are imperfect Mexicans. But I don't support the Mexican flags in here. I think you guys deserve to be respected. I think so. In all my heart, I support the United States. And I teach my children to love their country. If you hate me, if you're maybe saying, oh, that Mexican lady, you know what? I love you. Because thanks to United States, I can survive every day. And when I see you out there, I will say hi. I don't care if I don't speak good English, but I will say hi somehow. So do the right decision for these people because they deserve to be treated well and be respect from all the countries. Because America feeds all the countries. Okay? And we are blessed because of that. Because we bless other countries. Thank you. God bless you.
Please, thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, I'm going to close the public comment on any comments from the council or bring it back around.
Yeah, I'll say something. I gotta think of what to say. I'm emotional, sorry. I'm an emotional guy. This has hit pretty hard on me because I grew up here and I was integrated in the Hispanic community a lot of my friends were Hispanic. To me, that's what I grew up, and I was raised to respect everybody, and I was always raised that that's the one thing that the American flag did, was represent people of all race and religion, heritage, culture, and so I think to be here, I'd rather be out there. I'd rather be sitting out there, but I'm happy to be here because, you know, I think it's an important topic, and I really appreciate everybody coming here and giving their input. I think there's been a lot of, it's all been, you know, wonderfully said, and there's a lot of different opinions and all different backgrounds, and I think that that's what's special about America. I have to make a comment on the fact that I don't know for sure, but it felt to me like this was stimulated from putting the flags up on Charlie Kirk's memorial, and I don't stand for that either. Okay, so that wasn't the city, but I'm just putting it out there that I can understand the division that people would feel. Just as people feel that it would be divisive to run Mexican flags downtown, that could be equally as divisive to other people. And to me and what I believe, that flag is not to be politicized, ever, by anybody. Because that flag represents all of us. And listening to many people who've come here, and quite frankly, I've taken this very hard, so I've reached out to dozens and dozens of people in the past few days, and many of them Hispanic, many of them Mexican, trying to understand, right? I'm white, I was born here, okay? I do my best to integrate with the community and represent everybody here, and I think that's my job. To sit up here is to represent as many people as I can. I can't talk to everybody, you know, I wish I could, I really do. That's all races and all religions and all people who disagree with me and see the world differently. I'm just doing my best job to represent everybody, and I have somewhere else to go with that. But I guess we have a lot of work to do, right? I'm sad to be here as a community because to me, I love Mexican culture and heritage, and not just Mexican, but Hispanic. There's other Hispanic populations here as well, so it's I never thought we'd be here in our town, right? And so I think we have a lot to decipher here. You know, we're going to be leaning on our attorney, and I'll be happy to hear what others have to say. But I just have to thank everybody for giving their input. And you know, I personally am not I don't like the divisiveness in life, and I always try to mediate. Right, that's kind of what I'm good at. My one talent. Trying to bring people together and bring two sides who sometimes don't like each other and bring them together and integrate together. And I like people, and I probably could pick everybody that's been in this room tonight and find common ground somewhere, you know, truthfully, and have a cup of coffee, you know. And so it's really hard to navigate through this. I'll stop talking now. Sorry.
When this first hit social media, I didn't know if it was going to come in front of the council or not. got a couple texts like, hey, you guys voting on the flags, etc. Didn't know anything about it, so then I tuned into social media, found out some information. So for me, I have the luxury of talking to Hispanic people every day. I probably run across about 100 people every day. So I took it upon myself to sit down and said, hey, with these guys and gals, ages about 19 to 74 years old, and say, hey, I'm with the city council. This may or may not come in front of us, but I'm going to ask you some questions. And the question is, hey, apparently they want to fly the Mexican flag down the middle of Walker Street. What's your thoughts on that? And people will tell me, no, that's not right. And these are Mexicans I'm asking. I'm asking either Mexicans or Hispanic. And I had one old man tell me, he's 74 years old, told me, Mexicans are the ones who were born in Mexico. Hispanics are the ones who were born in America. So that's how he discerned the two. So Mexican American, those were Hispanic. True Mexicans were born in Mexico. That's what they look like. Get the two, don't get offended, but this is where he's steering me. So everybody I talk to, again, ages from 19 to 74, guys going to school, gals going to school, professionals, school teachers, physical therapists, professionals, all over the place, hardworking. Each one told me no, they thought it would be offensive because they're in America. And especially some of the ones from Mexico, like the lady who was just right here, they felt the same way. They felt it was disrespectful to American, how the American flag gets disrespected all the time. The one gentleman told me that he was at a football game watching his grandkids playing football. During the national anthem, he stood up. 15 people around him sat there with their hats on, wouldn't stand up for the national anthem. He was offended. And this guy, again, he's born in Mexico, still has business in Mexico, lives here, goes back and forth all the time, but he was offended by that. Most people that I talked to didn't care. And again, whatever we decide up here, we're not taking anybody's parties away from them, not taking any celebrations away from them. We're just talking about the flag policy for the city. One Mexican gentleman told me that he showed me a video that he posted on Instagram, and this was how he felt. The video showed Mexicans putting a Mexican flag over the hood of the car. Another gentleman coming up, taking the flag, folding it nicely, and giving it back from one of the guys. He says, this guy's telling him that, no, we're in America, we don't fly the Mexican flag. You want to fly it, you fly it at home. You celebrate at home with your heritage. But you go ahead and celebrate, but we don't fly the Mexican flag in America. So this is the feedback I'm getting, and I think I had 30 to 40 people I interviewed over the last 2 weeks before this even came to City Council. So the city attorneys provided us with a Manteca policy, flag policy. During some research, I see that the city of Manteca is actually going to looking at debating on whether to modify their policy. And a lot of other cities are following the same suit. The city of Downey has already made an adjustment to their policy because of, I think Sarah mentioned, all these organizations out here, you're just going to get bombarded, etc. And what's going to happen? You're going to have more division amongst the community because all these, oh my God, this flag's up or that flag's up there now. So people are going to get really irritated, irate, offended, etc. So City of Manteca has now kind of come up with, we haven't finalized it yet, but we'll go with the City of Downey. They're considering, they basically already have it, a neutral flag policy. And in that neutral flag policy is that the flag outlines protocols display the federal, state, local, prisoners of war, and missing in action, the POW, MI flags, on city-owned and city-maintained flagpoles. That's the only flags that they allow. Okay, nothing else. They're not taking sides, religious groups, or any other organizations whatsoever. For me personally, I'd like to see us look at a more of a neutral flag policy than the one that was given to us with Manteca. That kind of could cause more problems later.
Okay.
Since Mary yielded her time to me, she gets better soon. I'm gonna try to keep this quick, that means 15 minutes. So a couple different things, some of you guys know me, some of you don't. We might know each other professionally or socially, but anyways, I am the grandson of John M. Strawn, also as Jack Strawn. He was the flag man of Orland. My Eagle Scout project was his plaque and monument, I guess you could say, in front of the fairgrounds. And I helped that man and the VFW put up the flags way back in the good old days when I was skinny and young and used to listen. It was a great time and very patriotic. That group was wonderful to work with. They're long gone. Thank goodness the Boy Scouts took over. But I have to laugh because I come from a family of veterans. And I was wondering this whole time because Lord only knows my phone has ballooned up over this. Better this than medical stuff. But with that being said, one of the coolest things was to hear so many people engaging in government and doing what we used to get bored with when I would come to meetings with the fire department and other things, and there was me and Marjorie, the only people in the room, and Jerry. So it's nice that we're engaged. I don't like the specific context in the sense that we're a little bit divided, but I do love people's comments about love and unity and acceptance. With that being said, I come from a family of veterans. My grandfather, my uncle, my mother, myself. Yeah, my war wasn't exciting or interesting. It was 100 hours. Irregardless, as I tell people, and it's kind of a, I might get emotional like Smitty. So I took the oath of allegiance to join the military on January 11th of 1990. Repeated that on September 5th of 1990. Did my time, served in Germany, blah, 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 who cares? I come here to join the council, and Jennifer administered me that oath of office, and it literally, I sat there next to Matt, and if you could have heard what came out of my mouth, I sounded like a little school kid asking another girl for a date at the dance. My voice cracked, it immediately sent me back, but my point being with this whole long discussion is, what did I take that oath of office for the military, and what did I do for it here? To uphold the Constitution. And I know my veteran friends won't agree with me, but it's a matter of freedom of speech. And I know this has been litigated in Brown versus State of California, Department of Transportation, and Scott knows better than me, looking up at where you can put political stuff here and there with the non-forma, blah, blah, blah. With that being said, I would like to see us not necessarily adopt something, but it was working good for a long time, and I think this kind of pushed us to the edge of like, maybe we should be a little bit more considerate when we do things. I don't ever want to infringe on somebody's freedom of speech, even if I agree or disagree. I think we need to learn more tolerance of each other and acceptance. I come from a very good family, at least in my clan. And the unfortunate part of it is I think we've gotten away from tolerance and love and acceptance. Some of the things Matt said in the beginning was great. I just wish that we could, respect other people's, not wants and needs, but just the way they want to say their things. And with that being said, I would never want to infringe on somebody's First Amendment right, and I don't feel like getting into a lawsuit. I think this is a good time for us to kind of stand down and let the groups do what they do within reason, with respect. And that's where I'm at.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to all the citizens who came, who participated, those who shared their opinions and those who did not but just attended. It was great to hear from you all. And I appreciated everything you said. I won't remember it all, but I know the feeling and the passion you shared. I'm grateful that this issue was brought up and brought before us. And the reason I am is because, to me, there's pain on both sides and issues on both sides. And only through dialogue, discussion, and these kind of meetings can we move forward and make a stronger, more unified community. So that's my hope to see from this. I think my thing is option 2. I think we should direct staff to develop a formal policy for city-owned property relative to flags. That's what I think the direction should be. Yeah?
Private. So you brought up about the big bird across the highway, which I don't know what oversight we have over what goes on those
That's gotta be the same discussion. It's
Okay.
gonna have to be the same.
So we also have, what are the banners that are getting in quite disrepair, that are the Queen Bee Capitol banners?
Yes.
Suppose there were some way we could say, leave what is a 25-year tradition, our flags, which, by the way, I want to say thank you so much to Vern and the group of people that have tirelessly dedicated uncounted hours to get those flags up and get those flags down many times, only 4 or 5 at a time. It is an onerous job that they have stuck with for so many years. I know there's been some divide over a recent posting of flags, but at the same time, we need to stop and take a moment to thank those people for all the years they've been doing this. We respect those flags, we love the fact that they're up when they're up, and I hate to see anything happen to that tradition. So suppose we found some middle ground and there was a way to say, if you wanted to call it, if we have such a thing as Mexican Heritage Month, that we were able to use those banners, they could provide the banners and some stipend to help the city to install, and for a month, put up Mexican Heritage Month, maybe they'll want to put on a festival that month, do something that would acknowledge heritage in that way, and other groups as well. I don't know if that's even possible, or if there's a way to control it, or this is a crazy idea. But as I'm sitting here and you mentioned we went over the top, I thought, you know, we have a second choice here. Don't take away our American flags on the highway, but let's use the banners like a lot of communities do when they have banners concerning celebrations.
So I think again, it's to direct staff to develop a formal flag/banner policy for the city-owned property. I think that's the direction we're making. And that means we're going to discuss. We're going to, you're going to work on it. We're going to bring it forth. We're going to have discussions about it and try to come to something that will unite our community and make sense.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what we want to do? Well, that's what we're trying to do.
So the direction can be general. I mean, I can come back with some options that would include, for example, commemorative.
Yeah, we need to discuss this whole thing and how it's going to, we want to protect. One of the things is we must protect our city from lawsuits and those challenges. We don't have the money, we don't have the resources, and so we're going to have to toe kind of the line that keeps us safe. I think that's what, but we want to do that in a way that is,
addresses
concerns and makes sense.
Okay, so the most constitutionally sound policy, or at least the one that poses the least risk, is the one in which the city is not involved in picking and choosing various causes. So that would be the sort of neutral flag policy.
Yeah.
Federal, state, and local.
Yeah.
It does the
what do we do with banners and signposts?
Banners and signs are less of a concern because those have. I need to look into that,
okay.
But those have been traditionally controlled by the city, as far as I understand. I mean, who puts those up?
The city.
Yeah, the city puts those up. So it's that city speech. It's quite clear that it's not a public forum. Nobody.
So we control that 100%.
Yeah, we've kind of controlled that in the past. So that's it's fairly. I think it should be addressed in policy, but that's fairly. Yeah, it's fairly sound that the city controls that area. The bigger concern is just in general city-owned property, flagpoles, and then obviously if the policy can be enforced on Walker Street, which is a separate issue.
Yeah, that's got to be moved. But the first step is
the first step is just
flag policy banner.
A flag policy.
And then we're going to have to discuss. You're going to have to do a review on how do we work with Caltrans.
Yes.
Relative to 32.
Caltrans, I think, is a no-go because of the Brown versus Caltrans. Went to the Supreme Court back in 2002, so I think we're kind of that's not our jurisdiction, even though we share a road there.
Possibly. The distinction though with that case was that it recall, that had to do with overpasses. And so Caltrans just said, well, it's all, it's dangerous, we're not gonna allow that. I can't say whether or not they would say the same thing about sidewalks on highways going through local communities. It's kind of a different situation, so I just don't want to presume that that's true. I'm not sure. The highway code doesn't really address this. All it says is you need an encroachment permit, which it sounds like the Flag Society got. That's the kind of missing piece of this. I just don't know.
Okay.
But yes, I think my suggestion to staff or to the council would be a motion to direct staff to develop a flag policy. I think maybe the decision though for you tonight, you could take, you don't have to take it, would be whether that should be a neutral flag policy, meaning only federal, state, and local flags, or military flags on holidays, the appropriate holidays, Veterans Day, Memorial Day. That would be under the rubric of neutral flag policy. Now you can put that off, and you can say, well, no, a couple different policies, and I'd be happy to do that.
Bring back a
Okay.
couple examples.
Yeah, I'd like to see the policy with it.
Okay, so yes, and it would look like Antica's versus some of the other, like Huntington Beach. The other ones, yeah, Downey.
Okay, beach, and then another bay, Laurel Bay.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a couple different ones.
Yeah.
And you can see what it would look like, the Antigua, for example, is more procedural. I'm going on, but it's more procedural where you don't define what flags to be flown, but the city council, for example, has to deliver it, and it'll have to come to the city. So I'll let you decide whether that's wise or not.
Yeah, we kind of don't want it to be yeah, we don't want to, but anyway, I think we need to see, what's the one you titled the blank flag policy? Neutral?
Yeah, neutral flag policy.
But we need to at least see that before we vote on making that direction and see the options.
Okay.
So a motion to direct staff for formal flag policy?
That's fine, yeah. I mean, you can do it by consent.
Okay, consent, okay, we got consent. Is that consent? Consent? Okay, consent. Thank you. All right, that item is closed. We'll move to item 8, City Manager Verbal Report. City Manager Joe Goodman.
Well, we'll try not to extend the city